Hello everyone, this is Gayatri Samrajam from the section CSO, roll number 4942. Now I am going to speak a few minutes about object-oriented programming language. Python is a multi-paradigm language which supports both the structured language and as well as the object-oriented programming language. In object-oriented programming language, we are going to deal with the words like class, object, methods, constructors and so on. Let us see what are those. Class. A class is a user-defined blueprint or a prototype from which the objects are created. The classes provides a mean of bundling data and functionality together. This creates a new class, a new type of object, allowing new instances of that type to be made. Each class instance can have attributes or the data members attached to it for maintaining its state. The class instances can also have methods defined by their class for modifying their state. Some points to be noted on the Python class. How to define a class? We use the keyword class to define a class. Attributes are the data members or the variables which belongs to the class. These attributes are always public and can be accessed using the dot operator. Example, my class dot my attribute. Here my class is the class name and we are going to access the attribute my attribute. The syntax of the class. Class followed by the class name and it contains the statements or data members and so on. We create or define a class with the help of the keyword class followed by the class name. Object. An object is an instance of class. A class is like a blueprint while an instance is a copy of the class with the actual values. It's not an idea anymore. It's an actual dog, like a dog of breed pug who's 7 years old. You can have many dogs to create many different instances. For example, we are considering a dog. There are different kinds of breeds of dogs. But without the class as a guide, you would be lost and not knowing what the information is used. Mainly the object consists of state, behavior, identity. The state is represented by the attribute of an object. It also reflects the properties of an object. Behavior. This represents about the methods which we are going to perform on the object. It also reflects the response of an object to the other object. Identity. This gives an unique name to an object and enables one object to interact with the other objects. Here, coming to the object has it consists of three states. It consists of a state, behavior and identity, whereas identity comes under the name of the dog. State or attributes are about the breed, age, color. If we take an example as a dog, the identity of the object identity is the name of the dog. The state or attributes is breed, age and color, and its behaviors are bark, sleep, eat. These are the methods. Data members. These data members are the attributes with respect to the class can't be accessed outside the class. These data members can be accessed with the help of the object only. In general, object is having both the state and behavior as discussed earlier. How to declare an object? The declaring of the object is also known as the instantiating a class. When an object of a class is created, the class is said to be instantiated. All these instances share the attributes and the behavior of the classes. But the values of those attributes, that is the state, are unique for each object. The state is unique for each object. A single class may have many number of instances. Let's say this is a class named dog. There are number of instances like dog 1, dog 2, dog 3, dog 4. These are the states and behaviors. There are number of instances. The state or attributes are breed, age, color and these behaviors. Dog 1, dog 2, dog 3, dog 4. These are the number of instances. As I earlier said, the class can have many number of instances. The values of the attributes, that is the state, are unique for each object. For each object, the state is unique. Here it's an example, a program to demonstrate how to create a class, or instantiating a class means declaring an object, create an object for the class. Here I have created a class defined a class doc. Class is the keyword used to define the class and doc is the class name. Here I am taking two attributes attr1, attr2 signed with mammal and doc. attr1 is assigned with mammal, attr2 is assigned with doc. These are called attributes or data members. This is a sample method def fun of self. Self is the parameter which is passed into the function f1. Print I am a self.attr1. As I earlier said, the data members can be accessed with the dot operator. Attributes or data members can be accessed with the dot operator. I am a self.attr1. By using this in the code snippet, we get I am a, what is the self.attr1? That is mammal. We get I am a mammal. By self.attr2, it's dog. I am a dog, like that. Now we are going to create an object which is known as instantiation. Roger equal to dog of. Roger is the object name and dog is the class name. We are creating the Roger object to the class dog. Now we are going to access the class attributes and method through the objects. Print of Roger.attr1. By using this in the code snippet, we get what is attr1? It is mammal. We get in the code snippet output as mammal and Roger.fun. Fun. In this function def fun of self, we are going to print I am a self.attr1. It gives self.attr1 is a mammal, so it gives I am a mammal and I am a dog. We have created an object and accessing the attributes in the class with the help of object. Self. The class methods must have an extra first parameter in the method definition. We don't give a value for this parameter when we call the method. Python provides it. Python itself provides it. If we have a method that takes no arguments, then we still have to have one argument. This is similar to this pointer in C++ and this reference in Java. When we call a method of this object as myObject.method of arg1 and argument2, this is automatically converted by Python into myClass.method of myObject, argument1, argument2. This is all the special self is about. Constructor. Constructor is the special method. The constructor is the special method available in the class. The purpose of the constructor is to initialize the data members. The name of the constructor is _init. This precedes with the name of the constructor precedes with the _ followed by init and ends with the _. In Java, the name of the constructor is same as of the class, whereas in this Python, the name of the constructor is _init followed by _. When the object is created, the constructor is invoked automatically. Whenever we create an object, the constructor is invoked automatically. These are used to initialize the object state. Like methods, a constructor also contains a collection of statements that are executed at the time of object creation. Whenever we create an object, the constructor is invoked. This runs as soon as an object of class is instantiated. The method is very useful to do any initialization you want to do with your object. Example, a sample program. A sample class with init method. Class is person, the name of the class is person, def _init of self name. This is a constructor. Init method is it's a constructor. This is the special method. Self.name is equals to name. This is the data member. And there is another sample method def say_hi of self. Print hello, my name is self.name. Now we are going to create an object P for the class person. P equals to person of Gayatri. P.say_hi. We are calling this function. This gives output as hello, my name is Gayatri. Multiple constructors. class sample def double underscore init double underscore self, print first constructor def double underscore init double underscores of parameter containing self, print second constructor. Whenever we are going to run this code in the code snippet, we are going to get the output as second constructor. When we consider multiple constructor, then we get the output of the last constructor. Whatever the code is in the last constructor, we are going to get the code as output. Example, class sample def init self, print first constructor second constructor. I have run the code in this snippet. So s equals to sample, I have created an object for this sample function, for this sample class s equals to sample. By running this code in the code snippet, I got the output as second constructor. Whenever we consider multiple constructors, the output will be the content that is present in the last constructor. Built-in functions. There are some built-in functions that are available: getAttr, setAttr, hasAttr, delAttr. GetAttr is a built-in function. This is used to access the attribute of an object. This get attribute takes three values: object, name and default. setAttr. This setAttr attribute is used to set a particular value to the specific attribute of an object. It accepts the three parameters: object, name and value. HasAttr. It checks whether if the attribute is there or not. It returns true if the object contains some specific attribute. delAttr object name. It is used to delete a specific attribute. In order to delete a specific attribute, we use delAttr. This takes the parameters object name. A sample program that I have run in this code snippet. There is a class employee, class name is employee, def, this is the constructor, def double underscore init of self, ename, eas and eid. This ename, eas, eid, these are the data members. Self dot ename is equals to ename, self dot eas equals to eas, eid, eig. Now I am creating an object e for the class employee and I am giving the values to the ename, eas and eid. I3, 26 and 7079 is eid. Print of getAttr of e comma ename. By using the get attribute built-in function, we are going to get that attribute value. Ename consists of Gayatri, so the output will be Gayatri. setAttr of e comma es comma 29. This is object, this is the attribute name and this is the value that which we decide to set. Now we are going to print e.es. This gives the value 29. Before this 29, the es is 26. We have set some value to this particular attribute es. In order to set some value to an attribute, we use setAttr. Now print of hasAttr of e comma eid. Eid, whether it has some attribute or not, we are going to check with the help of hasAttr. It returns true. Some of the built-in class attributes: double underscore doc. This contains a string which has the class documentation. Double underscore dict. This provides a dictionary containing the information about the class namespace. Double underscore name, it is used to access the class name. Module, it is used to access the module in which the class is defined. Bases, this contains a tuple including all base classes. Inheritance. What is inheritance? This inheritance provides the code reusability. There are single inheritance and multiple inheritance. In order to reuse the code already, we use this inheritance. Assume base class is already created. We have created a class named base class and we are going to use those attributes present in the base class to another class, that is derived class. Class of derived class of base class. This contains statements or some code which we are going to use in the derived class. Multiple inheritance. A class can inherit multiple classes. Syntax for this multiple inheritance is class, derived class of base class 1, 2 and so on n. It contains some code. Class person, def init of self first name, last name. Self.fname equals to first name, self.lname equals to last name. Def print name of self, print of self.fname, self.lname, class faculty of person. Here, if we observe this line, person, this is the base class, and faculty is the name of the derived class. We are going to create an object for the derived class, and with that help of the derived class object, we are going to use or access the attributes that are present in the base class, that is person. F equals to faculty of Vaishnav Ras, F dot print name. We get the output as Vaishnav Ras. Here we have created an object for the derived class but not for the base class. We are going to create an object for the derived class, and with the help of this object, we are going to use the data members or the attributes of the base class. Class and instance variables. Instance variables are for data unique to each instance, and class variables are for each for instance, and class variables are for attributes and methods shared by all instances of the classes. The instance variables are variables whose value is assigned inside a constructor or method with self, whereas the class variables are the variables whose values is assigned in the class. The values of the variables that are assigned in the class are known as class variables, and whose value is assigned inside the constructor. Inside the constructor, if we assign the value, those are known as instance variables. Defining instance variable using a constructor. This is a class doc variable, class variable. This is the class variable. The variable which is declared inside a class is known as the class variable. Animal equals to given doc. Def init self breed constructor. These are the instance variables. Self dot breed equals to breed, color equals to color. This is the init method or the constructor. Inside the constructor, we have created a variables breed and color. These are known as instance variables, and that animal variable is a class variable which is created inside a class. These are the objects Roger and Buzo. Roger dog, pug brown, Buzo dog of bulldog black. Print Roger details. I am printing the Roger dog details and the Buzo dog details. Roger is a Roger dot animal. Roger dot animal means Roger is a dog. We get Roger is a dog. Its breed is pug and its color is brown, and we are going to print the Buzo animal also. Class variables can be accessed using the class name also. With the help of the class name also, we can use the class variables. Accessing class variable using class name, print of dog dot animal. We get dog. This is the output. Roger is a dog, breed pug, color is brown, dog, bulldog, and color is black. This is a sample program to show the class, how the class variables are used and how the instance variables are used and how they are created. This is another example. Instance variables inside the methods, to show that we can create instance variables inside the methods. Inside the method also we can create the instance variables. Class dog, animal dog. This is the constructor def double underscore self breed breed, and there is a method def set color of self comma color, self dot color equals to color, def get color of self, return self dot color, and we are creating the object Roger dog of pug. Roger dot set color brown, print of Roger dot get color. We get brown. As we set the color to the brown, we get brown. Abstraction. An abstract class can be considered as a blueprint for other classes. It allows you to create a set of methods that must be created with any child classes built from the abstract class. A class which contains one or more abstract methods is called an abstract class. An abstract method is a method that has a declaration but it doesn't have any implementation. While we are designing large functional units, we use an abstract class. When we want to provide common interface for the different implementations of a component, we use an abstract class. An example for the abstract class. This is the program showing how the abstract base class work. From ABC import capital ABC. This is the abstract method. We are having the, many classes, class like polygon, triangle, pentagon, hexagon, quadrilateral. This polygon of ABC, we are using the abstract base class, abstract method, abstract base class ABC. Def new number of sides of self. Pass class triangle of polygon. This is the derived class triangle from the polygon class. Def number of sides of self. Print I have 3 sides, triangle I have 3 sides. Here we are overriding the abstract method. Pentagon number of sides of self, I have 5 sides. Hexagon I have 6 sides. Quadrilateral I have 4 sides. Now we are going to create the object R equals to triangle of R dot number of sides for K quadrilateral, K dot number of sides. This is the object for quadrilateral, this is the object for triangle, pentagon number of sides, and K hexagon number of sides. We get I have 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides. When we are going to run this code in the snippet, we are going to get the output like have 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides and 6 sides. Encapsulation. This is one of the fundamental concepts in object-oriented programming language. This describes the idea of wrapping data and the methods that work on data within one unit. This puts some restrictions on accessing the variables and methods directly and also can prevent the accidental modification of the data. To prevent accidental change, an object's variable can only be changed by an object's method. Those types of variables are known as the private variables. A class is an example of encapsulation as it encapsulates all the data, that is, member functions, variables, etc. The protected members. The protected members are those members of the class that can't be accessed outside the class but can be accessed from within the class and its subclasses. To accomplish this in Python, just follow the convention by prefixing the name of the member by a single underscore. Note, the double underscore, the end method is a constructor and runs as soon as an object of class is instantiated. In order to create the protected members, we just use a single underscore before the name, prefixing the name of the member. A sample program to demonstrate the protected members. Class base. Here we are creating a base class. Base. This is the constructor. Self dot underscore a. The protected members are created with the help of underscore. Self dot underscore a equals to 2, and we are creating another class, derived class, using base. Class derived of base. This is the constructor of base class. We are calling the constructor of the base class. So we use the base class name dot init underscore self. Calling protected member of the base class self dot underscore a. We are creating the object for derived class and then object for the base class. Now we are calling the protected member outside the class. Print of object2 dot a. Whenever we call outside the class, it raises an error. See, attribute error. Base object has no attribute a. This is a protected member. As earlier I said, we cannot access these members outside the class. Within the class or subclasses, it can be accessed or called, but not outside the class. It gives calling protected member of base class to and an attribute error, because here we tried to call this protected this protected member outside the class. So it raises an error, attribute error, and says that it has no attribute A. Thank you.